This is the second part of Permutations and Combinations Diploma Review, starting on page 17 of the note package. These questions are about permutations and combinations, but they also include the words at least, at most, or potentially an or statement, and that makes them standard of excellence questions. So let's start with example number 10. And remember, our first goal is to determine whether it is a combinations or a permutation question. So combinations, that means that the order is not important that they are selected. Permutations means the order is important in which they are selected. Okay, so example 10 says a committee has 8 students and 5 teachers. How many ways can a subcommittee of 3 be chosen if there must be more teachers than students? So I noticed two things about the wording. First off, I see the word committee. Committee is a pretty big giveaway that we are going to be using combinations unless we are assigning roles within the committee. The second word that I see is the word chosen. So that tells us we will be using combinations to answer this question. From there, I'm going to focus in on the conditions for our new subcommittee. It says there must be more teachers than students, and I also noticed that we are choosing a subcommittee of 3. So we have 3 to be chosen, and there needs to be more teachers than students. That means that I have the option of 2 teachers and 1 student on the committee. But I could also have all teachers. So 2 teachers and 1 student, or 3 teachers. So as soon as I see that word or, it means I'm considering different cases. Okay, remember that the words and means multiply and or means add. So to get the 2 teachers, I would have 5 and I would choose 2 of them. And of course means multiply 1 student. So 8 students and I am choosing 1 of them. And then I'm going to add, because of the word or, 3 teachers, which can be selected 5, choose 3 ways. Okay, and once I type that in on my calculator, I will get the final answer. When I type that in my calculator, as shown on the side, I got 90. So there are 90 different committees possible when I am choosing a committee with more teachers than students. All right, next example. A group of camp employees, 5 leaders and 8 assistants, are working at a summer camp. A particular activity requires the participation of 5 employees, at least 4 of whom must be leaders. So they're choosing participation for an activity. There is nothing in this sentence that leads me to believe that order that they are chosen in matters. They're just saying they need to participate in an activity. So I will be using combinations for this question. I also look at the answers A, B, C, D, and they are all combinations. So I know that order is not going to be important. Okay, from there it says at least 4 of whom must be leaders. So I'm choosing a group of 5 employees, 4 need to be leaders. So that means I could have 4 leaders, and then it says at least, so I need 4 leaders or 5 leaders. Okay, let me plug that word or in, remembering that more or means and. Okay, I still need 5 employees, which means with the 4 leaders, I will also need 8 assistants. Okay, so now I should be able to choose my answer just based off that information. I have 5 choose 4 times 8 choose 1 plus 5 choose 5 for the final answer of A. All right, the last example here would be a good written response question. Remember that that word determine will be bolded and will also require that you show your work. Okay, showing your work doesn't need to be extensive, but it does need to have how you got your calculations. Okay, so it says Caleb is packing a lunch. Below are the options he has. So he's got, 4 different sandwich options. He's got 2 different drink options, and it looks like I've spelled Gatorade wrong. Snacks, he has 5 different options for the snacks. Okay, so now let's see what his lunch options will entail. It says, determine the number of different possible lunches that he could pack if he brings 1 type of sandwich, 1 type of drink, and 3 or 4 different types of snack. So I'm going to show you 2 different ways that you could tackle this question. First off, we need to determine, is it a permutation or combination? And it is a combination question. The order that he puts these things in his lunch does not matter. They will still compile his lunch. We are not assigning any sort of position or arranging anything, so this is a combination question. So 1 type of sandwich. We have 4 types of sandwiches, and we are going to choose 1. Okay, so 1 type of sandwich, and means multiply, 1 type of drink. Okay, so we have 2 drinks and we are choosing 1 of them. And once again, it's an and, but then it says 3 or 4 different types of snacks. So I have 2 options for this. So I had to have a set of brackets here. And then look at those different combinations with a plus sign in between. So 3 or 4 different types of snacks. So first I have 5, choose 3. And that's if there are 3 different snacks. Or there could be 5, choose 4, meaning that there were 4 different snacks. So if I type that in on my calculator, I will get my answer. So let me go ahead and do that. All right, I have typed that in my calculator. This would be an appropriate amount of work for a determined question to get the answer of 120. I wanted to show you an alternative way to get the answer for this question. And it requires the exact same skill set, just setting it up slightly different. So essentially, you're going to consider 2 cases. Case number 1 is packing 3 snacks. And case number 2 is packing the 4 snacks. Okay, so if we pack 3 snacks, we will have 4, choose 1 for the sandwich, times 2, choose 1 for the drink, times 5, choose 3. So you would figure out what that number is, which is 4 times 2 times 10, and you would get 80. And then you would do the same thing, but you would do it for 4 snacks. So 4, choose 1 times 2, choose 1. And then now instead of 5, choose 3, 5, choose 4. So that will be 4 times 2 times 5. So that's 40. So then our last step would be to add 80 plus 40, and we would get that final answer of 120 either way. So just depending on how you want to set it up, you could consider it as 2 cases and then add them together, because we would use case 1 or case 2, so add them, or you can do it all in the same step. Okay, just a reminder that these are standard of excellence questions, so make sure you can remember that and requires multiplication and or requires addition.